God designed and structured marriage to be a beautiful thing between a man and woman, putting them together, combining them in one flesh so they can have a true purpose to serve God throughout the world. But we have a dilemma. We have a husband who has become fond of another man's wife. And how would God judge this situation? See, things can happen over the course of a marriage. A husband may meet someone at work or working with them, and they may become fond of another woman and they're married, and he's also married. It can happen at church. It can happen in our communities, in our cities and towns and states. It can happen almost anywhere. Maybe they are a friend of the family and they just become so fond of another man's wife and they're married and they're having a difficult time. And they may be thinking about this woman, this married woman, having dreams about this woman, want to have conversations about this woman, want to have intimate connections with this woman, but they're married. How will God judge this situation? Now, the Bible is clear about one man and one woman, husband and wife, being together and doing things together, having proper communication, having proper intimate relationships, being there for one another. That's the type of relationship that a marriage should be between one husband and one wife. In the book of 1 Corinthians, in chapter 7, verse 2, Paul wrote, but since sexual immorality is occurring, see, people were being involved in these behaviors and they weren't godly. God doesn't want us to do these kinds of things. Each man should have sexual relations with his own wife and each woman with her own husband. Paul was illustrating a point here that we need to go back to the foundation of what God designed a marriage to be. And it wasn't for a husband to become fond of another woman that's married, and he's also married. Breaking that commitment that God put together in this relationship. We need to go back to what's proper from the Bible. In the book of Proverbs, in chapter 18, verse 22, he who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. The Lord delights in a marriage, just as when God created woman for man and he gave woman to man, to Adam. And then Adam said, this is flesh of my flesh, bone of my bones, and she shall be called woman since she came from man. We need to go back to this proper foundation and turning from this wayward living and becoming fond of another man's wife. Because we want to stray from God's word, we need to go back to this proper relationship. In the book of Ephesians, in chapter 5, verse 31, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united with his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So if you're becoming one flesh together, interwoven in this relationship, spiritually connected and anchored, you don't go out and be with someone else or becoming fond of someone else to the point where you want to break your marital covenants. We need to go back to God's word. If you are a husband and you have become fond of another man's wife, knowing that you're married, and it would cause chaos and so much disruption in your marriage if your wife knew about the situation. Or you could be in a situation where your wife knows that you're fond of another woman. She sees how you act in front of this woman. She sees how you look at this woman. It's time to change the course in your marriage and break free of this and go back to your wife. Go back to the Lord and restore your marital relationship that only God put forth for you to have. The time is right now to anchor your precious soul on a journey that will lead to everlasting life, not only for you, but also for your wife, both being godly, being in this relationship, being committed, living out your days in a one flesh commitment like God on purpose designed for a marriage to be.